Perhaps my most ambitious project of all time. Hey, I like Star Wars or something. I think Rebels is better than most seasons of Clone Wars. I like Hera Syndulla a lot. Let's make her costume. We're going for early seasons Hera minus the shoulder pads. This means plain white shirt with high collar and the long gloves. We're using a lot of materials for this one, so strap in. 1.5 yards of white stretchy athletic fabric for the shirt, 1 yard of brown pleather for the vest and gloves, 3 yards of orange duck canvas for the pants, 3 yards of 1.5-inch gray cotton webbing for the straps, 1 yard of white cotton batting for the cap, some of this kind of foam, and either stretchy green fabric or a whole bunch of silicone stuff for the Lekku, we'll see when we get there, and a roll of foam for the flight cap goggles and metal covers on the boots. And also, of course, thread and interfacing and all the other bits and bobs you normally need for sewing. The patterns I used for this project include Simplicity 8513, McCalls 4308, Simplicity 8722, and ElenyasShop's Chonky Hera Lekku flight cap and tattoo patterns on Etsy. This is once again a cosplay with a deadline, that deadline being C2E2 in Chicago. I gave myself ample time, but with lifing, why, anything could happen. Anyway, there's simply nothing left to do but to get started. I started with the shirt, which went how things normally go, pinning, cutting, serging, sewing, etc. See, I'm rewinding because something funny happened in Impractical Jokers. And I missed it and I wanted to see it. $10 says I bleed on this white fabric. I can only give $10 to one person, not all of you. All 20 of you who watch. Do you like how I'm guarding it like I'm in front of the camera? Like, so day one went a lot slower than I would have liked. You can see the carnage around me. My serger broke about one side in to serging out of all 6 pieces that I had. So I spent an hour pulling that apart and cleaning it and rethreading it. And then I got it to serge correctly, which is nice. But now my machine is skipping stitches on the zigzag stitch and the sun is going down. So I think we're gonna regroup. We're gonna get ourselves some ballpoint needles like we should have done a million years ago. And then we're gonna go back at it on another day. But so far it looks good. It was then another day and I made the collar. And then I attached that collar to the shirt. Dude, look at the way this matches. Well, it's super close, and I never match seams as well. Ignore this is getting stitched again. But I think I did okay. All right, so it took me nearly all of night at the museum to do all the hand stitching I needed to do on this thing. And I started putting snaps right here, but I don't think I like it because they're very visible when I actually do the snap. So I think I'm gonna undo all of that and just put it right there. So I think all of my hand sewing is going to take all of night at the museum. With night at the museum and hand sewing completed, I moved on to the vest. Okay, ignore the state of my room, but I took a shower, I've got Battle of the Smithsonian queued up on my TV, and I was really dreading draping the pattern for the vest because I'm very bad at draping. Luckily I found McCalls 4308 in my closet. It is a tank top, but it only comes in one size, and the size is like slightly too small. I'm gonna put it on this brocade I think this is brocade as a mock-up because it's the closest in thickness I have to the pleather. And also I'm never gonna use this for anything. I don't even know where I got it. But no matter how this paper pattern turns out, I think we can at least start with it and adjust from there. Instead of pinning and cutting like I normally do, I just traced the pattern onto here, and then that way I could like draw on the little details. I'm gonna sew the 2 tank top pieces together first, see how it sits, see how it fits, and then I'll cut this apart and sew it together the way it is in her costume, and we'll see if that works. If that doesn't work, I might just do the tank top itself. All right, the first fitting is honestly not too bad. With most patterns, the arms come out too far this way, and so I'll have to adjust that. I don't even know why I didn't adjust it to begin with, because I knew it would be too much. Round 2, let's go! Take 2 is even better. If I ironed it, it would look better. But I still have this small gap, just like right here. It's so tiny. I wish I knew how to fix it, but the seam lines look great. Again, if ironed. I think I might try it all on together, I don't know. Okay, so I was gonna do a third draft, but I think I trust myself enough to work with the final fabric, and I have a lot more than I originally thought. And I don't wanna put pins in there because it'll leave holes that'll never go away. I'm just gonna unpick this and trace it onto the back of the leather fabric, and I guess I'll see you on the other side. And now this is sewing. All right, so this is it. I'm so happy with it. I have to fix this part. This part is still gapping or gaping pretty bad. What are you gonna do? But these lines, they worked out. They didn't like cause any extra gaping or weirdness or puckering in here. So yeah, I just have to fix this, and then we're moving on to the overalls. Oh, and hemming. I'm thinking about doing facing so that the stitches don't show. But yeah. It appears as though a gnome has gotten their grabby fingers on my fabric. While we were using the pleather, I figured we might as well work on the gloves too. The inside of this pleather has a soft material, which actually worked so well as inside glove material. I was fully prepared to go full hands in leather sweaty, but this was nice. It did kind of stick to my sewing machine and pull things out of alignment, especially with all the tight curves, so I hand basted the layers together instead of pinning. Okay, we're trying something new and exciting, which is cutting at the desk instead of on the floor. Ignore the ever ongoing construction that's happening above me. So this middle piece keeps collapsing in on itself when I wear it. So I think I'm going to put interfacing underneath it to kind of keep it separated. Pants time! So this is what I got for the jumpsuit. It's all one piece, I'm realizing, with Velcro just going all the way up. So we're gonna do some altering. I don't know if you can see it, but the pattern says attention. Do we think that's important? So this looks a little complicated, I am not going to lie. I feel like I'm a little in over my head. But you know, we start with cutting out the pattern and we go from there. So I forget how long cutting out pattern pieces takes. I forget how long anything in sewing takes. Like, yeah, I could knock out this vest in one day, probably. No, I can't. So we're just sticking with cutting out the overall pattern pieces today, and then we'll revisit the rest another day. All right, I think I got a pretty decent mock-up. It took me literally all day, but I finished. I traced all the seams on the inside, so I think I'm going to cut along those tracings and then add the seam allowance to the real fabric, if that makes sense. Welcome to my bathroom. This is where I will be dyeing my duck canvas. I'm not sure how much you'll see of it because I'm embarrassed by the state of my bathroom. This is my first time using the all-purpose dye, and so it doesn't have to constantly be boiling, so I think I'm just gonna add hot water to the tub. Let me grab the tub. I'll be adding hot water to the tub. And yeah, should be fun. I like dyeing fabric. Okay. I think it's, well, it's I don't know where to put it while I fill the tub. I don't know if you can hear that, but Rit dye ASMR bubbles. Woohoo! Alright, I've got my soup going. I'm gonna stir this for as long as I think it should be stirred. I'd like to listen to some copyrighted tunes while I stir, so I'll see you after that. Okay, so this is the color after about 20 minutes in the dye bath. This is also with the crappy lighting in my apartment, and it's gonna dry lighter. Look at my nasty Cheeto fingers, except it's not Cheetos, it's the orange dye. So I actually had these overalls pinned right sides together, and out loud, I said, you know what? No. And now the wrong sides together, and that's just me saying I'm doing a French seam. So this is all actually coming together, and it looks kind of nice. I'm still debating if I want to do silicone Lekku or if I want to do fabric. The fabric is just cheaper, period. But I know silicone's gonna look a lot better. I think I have enough time to play around with it. It's just so expensive, you know? But then it'll last forever, but like how long am I gonna be into Rebels? Probably forever, but maybe not. I'm doing the zipper now. I'm doing the invisible zipper and I think it's gonna work. It fits. I have to bring in the hips and I have to bring in this a little bit. The biggest problem, honestly, is that Hera is long and lanky and I am short and stocky, so I just don't have enough to fill out the overall shape. But the straps are 5 separate pieces. The belt itself, the straps running down the legs, and the loops around the legs. The loops are cut at an angle to prevent them from tugging on the vertical straps. They're all just attached to each other with zigzag stitches. Today is the end of day, whatever day it is, because I stopped counting because I didn't want to discourage myself. But it's been a lot of days. I didn't have a ton of time, so it was sort of a bits and bobs day. I hemmed the top section of the overalls, and of course it's like bulging outwards because that's what everything does when I hem it, and I'll fix it somehow, some way. I cut out this little piece right here, and I cut out the belt loops. And the belt loops are all relatively the same size, they're all relatively clean. Praying I get more done on my next day off. I should just stop apologizing for the state of my living room because it's gonna look this way until I'm done with the project. There's no time to clean. I'm hoping to get a lot more done Wednesday, but I have a work meeting in person and I do have to go shopping for fabric. All I know is that there's about a month left until C2E2 and there's not a lot to do, but it feels like there's a lot to do. Also check it out, I got my face paint and I did a test with it and I think it's gonna work. It's Paradise Paint. Paradise Marron? I've never pronounced this out loud before. It's Paradise Paint in Lime. I was gonna hem the edges of this, but they're honestly pretty clean on their own, so I think I'm gonna leave it. Plus it will reduce bulk. I taped up an old rain boot of mine. It's bright red. I'm hoping to cover it with the leather fabric that I have. I made pretty intricate designs on it, which I'm hoping works out, and it should, because the more pieces, the bendier it is, the more likely it's to fit, I think. I don't know. Here's my fun little pattern that I made for the boots. I have to be really careful with my placement of the pattern because remember when I thought I said I had a ton of this leather fabric so I could make a second vest? That was when I thought I wasn't going to be making boot covers and I would just buy some boots, but now I'm making boot covers. Well, in the days since I have cut out the pattern, I have lost heel L. So somewhere out there, this one's missing their other half. You know, like in Hedwig and the Angry Ant. I'm filming sporadically, so I'm not sure if I've said this before, but we are like in crunch time. Like I have made myself a schedule, like day-to-day schedule, and I'm sticking to it crunch time. It doesn't help that I work like every single day up until C2E2, but that's life, baby. Do you see this? This is the outside at night. I don't work at night. But here we are. I'm not very comfortable vlogging in public, but Joanne is going away and I figured I should find a real fabric store. But I did find this really cool place called Textile Discount Outlet. It is far away, but I made out. Like, check this out. The lighting in my apartment is horrendous, but like, it's the same color as my body paint. The Lekku were straightforward. The pattern is excellent. I can't recommend Elenia Frost enough. So the deal is I don't have a needle that can work with this stretchy fabric. I did, and then it broke. And my sewing machine is already kind of garbage, so we're just hand stitching the Lekku to their base, which shouldn't matter because it's all under the cap anyway, so it's not gonna be visible. And I like hand stitching. I just think it's gonna take a really long time. I stuffed the Lekku with regular stuffing and I had awful cheap foam, which meant it ripped pretty much constantly. So I gave it a ton of hot glue touch-ups, which unfortunately showed through the fabric, but it wasn't super noticeable. Also, the whole thing was too small and it was entirely my fault. In the instructions, she warns that she has a really small head and it's made for her head, and I am known to have a very large head and I did not size up accordingly. But that's okay, it needs to be remade anyway, and I'm hoping to eventually do silicone. Like, the fabric looks nicer than I thought, but I really want silicone Lekku. I also didn't paint on the tattoos because by the time I had the Lekku finished, it was pretty much con time, and if I messed it up, I would not have time to make more. The flight cap should have been canvas or something. I don't know why I thought cotton batting was the right choice, but since I'm remaking the Lekku, I'll need to remake the cap as well, and I'll probably use something sturdier. Same deal though, just follow the pattern, super easy. All right, it is official con crunch. I'm currently drafting the headphones and making them out of foam. I I have my Pookie over there working on her gym costume. Do you have anything to say?
Flint and steel.
The goggles were held together with hot glue and a dream. I drafted them with paper first, just kind of eyeballing the shapes, then transferred them to foam and painted them with acrylic. And they look like they're made of foam. Honestly though, they're passable. I might just keep them, maybe buff them out a bit, I don't know. And that, my friends, is Hera Syndulla. Star Wars has always had some of the best written women, in my opinion. They're dynamic and interesting and nuanced, and I'm drawn to them in a way I simply cannot describe. Hera in particular has my heart at the moment. She's so stubborn and hard-headed, and she cares deeply about people, and that's not just limited to her found family. And her relationship with Kanan in particular is so grounded and real and adorable. I love them so much. I love her so much. Anyway, getting ready took about 3 hours, though I imagine with practice it would go a little faster. Most of that was obviously taken up by the body paint. I love this cosplay. I am super proud of it. It has a long way to go, especially where the Lekku and flight cap are concerned. I also want to straighten up the vest and tighten it, maybe put a zipper on it, and the pants are a little too short, though there's really nothing to be done about that, but that's okay. And I have to add heels to the boots, because I just didn't do that. Anyway, Rebels means a lot to me, and I'm glad I could bring this one to life. See you next time, when I inevitably do another Star Wars project.